ran at will using that box last week against Gadsden.
Well, the head coach of Walter Welborn said, was quoted in the press this week as saying what they have to do to win is contain Robert Davis. Robert Davis, prep player of the week, as named by the Birmingham Post-Herald on offense last week. Davis with 18 rushes for 106 yards against Irwin in the first playoff game. And as West Steed gets set to tee it up and kick it off for this playoff game, we have to remind our listeners that on defense, one of our defensive backs, Eugene Oliver, is out for whatever remains in this season. Eugene, the victim of a knee injury late in the closing moments of the Irwin game last week. Other than that, Homewood goes with its starting offensive and defensive lineups. Again, against a Walter Welborn team that is slightly undersized as far as the size of the individual players, but they bring this offensive look that we certainly have not seen before this year. So we're ready to get underway. This is the playoff game in 5A as West Steed puts his toe into it and sends the kick down to about the 6-5 yard line. Pat Harris picks it up for Walter Welborn, and Harris brings it out and across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Stop made by Eric Rebels and Scott Hogue. Delighted that you're with us. Hope that you'll be able to be with us again for more football action as we continue in the playoffs, but certainly it's our hope that we look only to tonight's game, and let's get this one past us first.
Well, the Panthers will break out of their huddle, and they do not have a quarterback. They have what they call a blocking back, who in effect is the quarterback from a shotgun formation. The Notre Dame box has 4 backs in the backfield. The blocking back who takes the snap sometimes, not always, 2 running backs and usually a wing back. So we see them break the huddle now. And they come out now with a quarterback right under center, but they'll shift out of that.
They'll shift out of that. They go now with 2 backs and 2 blocking backs and 2 wing backs. The give is to looks like it was 5, Shannon King. And a flag on the play already in this first set from scrimmage. A holding call against Homewood is the indication. So the play that made about a yard or 2 now picks up another 10. A 15.
Major distance penalty. That is the play. Coach Mike Battle feels that Walter Welborn has to run effectively to be successful against Homewood. Simply the pitch play with everyone leading the running back. That time the quarterback, the other back, and a lineman pulled to lead that play. Not very effective, but the penalty makes up for the play.
Here again, Carroll over the center. The 2 blocking backs move forward. Movement by Walter Welborn, and flags fly. So we might suspect that we'd see the ball go back about 5 yards, Fred.
Number 34, William McCain, that time blowing the snap count, and it'll cost Walter Welborn 5 yards.
McCain lines up as a starting tight end sometimes. Steve Delaney, their number 80, also alternates with McCain at the tight end position. The backs for Walter Welborn are number 22, Stephen Carroll. Number 5, Shannon King, lines up at tailback. Their fullback is number 11, Jeremy Chesson, and the wingback is number 26, Roderick Morris. First now and 15 for Walter Welborn. They're moving from their own 40-yard line. Here's the give to number 5, Shannon King. King out across the 45 to about the 49, almost to the 50, but I believe they'll mark it shy of the 50. Gain of about 9, bringing up now 2nd and 6. 2nd and 6. Walter Welborn threatening. Homewood's defense really taking a sharp look at it. We need to watch Coach Mike Thorson, who now stands on the Welborn 35-yard line. He wants to see if he can pick up something on the part of that center. Any kind of indication as to where that ball is going. Here's the give to King again. This time they've got him just as he crosses the 50-yard line to about the 48. I see Lee Thompson getting up from the pile. Let's see who else we can pick up. There's Greer, Skipper
coming up on that play. 2 new defensive changes right now. Henry Welborn is in the defensive secondary along with Alexander Adamson. We knew Alexander would be in place of an injured Eugene Oliver, but right now Henry Welborn has started in the place of Scott Hogue at one of the safety positions.
So far out of 4 offensive possession plays, Welborn has gone to Shannon King 3 times, I believe. So we'll watch again. King and Chesson are the two setbacks. And again, the gift to King, this time with a handoff to number 26, Roderick Morris, but Morris caught from behind. Michael Coggins.
Coggins coming through that time. Interesting. Coach Thorson was concerned about the penetration on the Notre Dame box. It's not unusual for the running back to pass the defensive lineman penetrating so fast with the misdirection and the shield blocks that the offensive linemen have to utilize. That time, Welborn going with the wingback reverse, and Coggins sniffing it out, stopping it for little or no gain.
Robert McQueen is the punter. A heavy rush, but he gets it away. Robert Davis signaling for a fair catch, and the ball takes a Homewood bounce. It'll be down at about the 24-yard line, the Patriot 24-yard line, as the Homewood offense gets set to take over, and let's see what we can do to generate some yardage here. I almost feel like breathing a sigh of relief, Fred. It's sort of like, whew, we got through that first one.
If the players feel anything like we do, we have never seen the Notre Dame box this season. Haven't seen it run this season, and it is a very interesting offense to watch. And put yourself in the player's position, watching it from field level with people coming in and out and just going past you and bodies flying everywhere. It's got to be an experience.
Give to Davis, the first man through on an off-tackle play. Robert was upended, but he's also up very quickly. No injury there. Welborn's number 35, Chan Woodard, with just a resounding tackle. We could almost hear it up here.
Victor Nunez that time also making a big hit on Robert Davis. Good penetration that time, stops Davis for a loss.
A loss of 1. Line of scrimmage now the 23 with 2nd and 11. Jay Roberson on the give to Kenneth Evans. Evans out across the 28, maybe to the 29. Robert McQueen that time on the stop. We're just trying to pick up these numbers, so we apologize for being a little bit slow with them. McQueen and Nunez apparently going to get a lot of work. They're both the inside tackles on this Welborn defense.
If Welborn has an Achilles heel, it could be their pass defending. Their secondary is somewhat weak.
Here's the give to Davis, and again, he's hit at the line of scrimmage and stopped. They're keying on Robert. This is what their head coach, Mike Battle, was quoted as saying earlier in the week. We must contain Robert Davis. And so on this set of downs, they have done so. With a 4th and 9, the Patriots will kick it away.
Taylor Youngblood that time leading the charge for Walter Welborn, and those defensive linemen are playing well early in this game. The one play, Kenneth Evans got the ball, gained short yardage, and the rest of the time they were just looking for Robert Davis.
Deep for Welborn is Roderick Morris. Flags fly as Jay Roberson gets the kick away. Morris takes it in at the 44-yard line, gets across the 50 and down to about the Homewood 45 as Wes Steed and Michael Coggins and Lee Thompson combined to bring him down. But let's see what the penalty is.
It's be illegal procedure against Homewood, I believe, Barry.
Could be an offsides against Welborn, or could be an illegal procedure against Homewood. I'm not sure which way it'll go.
I believe he's called that one against Homewood.
Procedure is the call against Homewood, so they'll decline. And Welborn now in excellent field position on Homewood's 45. A 27-yard punt that time by Jay Roberson, matching the 27 yards of the previous punt by Walter Welborn. Here's the shift again. The give to Shannon King with a blocker, met head-on by Lee Thompson, who wrestles them both down, and they come up shy of the 40-yard line, probably mark it at about the 41 and a half. Good shot of Coach Thorson, as he communicates so effectively with that defense. Coach has a great way of getting his point across.
Trying to impress upon the importance of this series. Right now I'm looking at Dusty Smith on the Homewood sidelines. Trainers seem to be working on an ankle, possibly a knee or an ankle. I sure hope Dusty's not seriously injured. He's an integral part of this Homewood defense.
King and Chesson are the two setbacks. The give is to King, who looks like he'll throw. The man had a step on Zan Adamson, but the pass was pretty substantially overthrown. This is the first time we've seen a passing threat from Welborn. Again, Shannon King doing the duties. They don't list him as a quarterback, but I suspect he's the one who gets most of the action on offense.
He has a great deal of talent, and they put him at the blocking back position. He is either the chief ball handler, or he runs the most important fake in the Notre Dame box. Their leading ball carrier right now is Shannon King. He's gained over 1,300 yards this season, and he is their main offensive threat.
Well, he's, as Mike Whitten points out for us, he's also the one calling the plays in the huddle. He now has the ball again to throw. This time batted down by Brian Greer by Zan Adamson in the defensive. No, it was Greer. Adamson was back there as well. We've got a flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be procedure. Illegal motion against Walter Welborn. We'll have to see what Homewood chooses to do on that. There's the call, illegal motion, and it is declined.
That's the danger of the a motion offense. That motion man seems to be running parallel, and if he turns upfield just an instant too soon, that will bring the penalty flags out, and that's just the case there. Eric Mims going in motion, and eventually on the receiving end of the pass attempt, cut it upfield just a little too quick in order to get a step on the defensive back.
Well, Welborn is going to call timeout as you take a look at Dusty Smith working on that tender ankle on the sidelines, moving back and forth on it. Welborn's going to take a timeout now with facing 4th and about 7. So I'm not quite sure why they would take the timeout facing 4th and long, but it's a needed timeout for Homewood as they huddle on the sidelines there, and you can see Coach Thorson talking to the defensive folks. You know something interesting, Fred? We have seen in a majority of the games that Homewood has played this year, our observation here in the announce booth has been that Homewood defense has had to tailor its defensive look in the middle of the game.
That's right.
And you can prepare all you want using a scout team, but there's nothing like facing the real thing, and Coach Thorson has done just a magnificent job at that, and he's really being put to the test tonight because they're seeing a defense that they've just never seen before.
Well, we were talking earlier in this Homewood defense, how many times this year have we seen them stop in mid-drive, the other team driving on them, and just during the actual drive, and put a stop to it.
Fair catch called for by Brian Greer. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Down at about the 15, he had to run up and catch it a little bit. But Homewood dodges another bullet with strong defensive action, and the offense now will come on, and let's see if we can get something generated here.
Well, the last series for Homewood, they ran running plays exclusively, no passes, and that's the first time in several games that Homewood has not attempted at least one pass in their opening series, which is unusual. Perhaps they were just probing this Walter Welborn defense.
Here's the give to Robert Davis. Davis out across the 15 to about the 18. And it may be that we need to go with just a ground clock control offense here, 3 and 4 yards at a time as you look at our cheerleaders. The cheerleaders are with us tonight, and if you can hear the music of the band, there's an interesting story behind that, because we'll tell you right quickly, the band is not here. But you can hear their music, and we'll when we have a pause in the action in a moment, we'll tell you a little bit more about who's the band tonight. Here Jay looks at 2nd and 8. The give to Kenneth, but he doesn't get up to the, I don't think, to the 20-yard line.
He's short of the 20 that time. Tavares Elston and Stephen Trotter put the hit on Kenneth Evans.
Also to this Tavares Elston, their number 17, who's getting in on a little of that action, and then 34 is McCain.
So far, Homewood continuing to probe the middle of that Walter Welborn line. Very few wide toss sweeps or anything wide to this point.
Here's Davis. Davis off left tackle, gets away at the 30, out across the 30 to maybe the 31, if indeed that's where they spotted down. Not sure where he went out of bounds, but that should be plenty for a first down.
3-4 hits that time by Walter Welborn defenders. Robert Davis just refusing to go down and really just breaking tackles to get that first down. They were the first down of the game for Homewood.
Yeah, that's an important first down, and I think probably the first successful passing play is also going to be very important to loosen up that Welborn defense a little bit. Here's the fake to Davis, the pass to Greer, complete. Greer out across the 35 and wrestled out of bounds by a host of Welborn defenders. I see 63 and 64 in there. That's Todd Pilkington and Victor Nunez. Nunez, again, one of those tackles.
Well conceived play that time. Jonathan Hamaker and Chris Lesko out in front of Brian Greer gained good yardage. Looks like he gained about 6 yards on that play. On the other hand, Walter Welborn came out with strong pursuit and shut it down, or it would have gained quite a bit more.
Roberson looks now at 2nd and 4. Line of scrimmage just past his 35-yard line. Here's the give to Kenneth Evans out across the 40. They may spot him just shy. We'll have to see where the mark is before we can tell you whether it's a first down or not. It looks to be enough, but they're going to call timeout and take a closer look at it. They've said that there's plenty of room there in their judgment, so a first down for the Homewood Patriots.
Homewood moving methodically downfield, if anything else. One pass so far, the screen to the wide receiver. Everything else being basically up just off tackle or between the tackles. The one play to Robert Davis, the only thing resembling a wide play so far.
All right, 1st and 10 from their own 40 as Homewood moves. The clock moves too, 3:21 remaining. The pass into and out of the arms of Dwight Whalen. Defended on the play by number 26, Roderick Morris. Tough to hang on to when there's somebody hanging on to you.
Especially Roderick Morris, one of the leaders on this defense, a senior, and one of the harder hitters on Walter Welborn's team.
Okay, here's Roberson with a give to Davis. Davis still trying to dance his way up through the middle of that line, and it's tough going. Tough going.
That's a tough interior Walter Welborn line. Number 34, William McKean, and number 22, Stephen Carroll. Tavares Elston and Todd Pilkington, the linebackers. Walter Welborn employing a 4-4, which they will change as the offense gets their set and walk it into actually a 6-man line with one linebacker. They're very, very good at doing that. Right now they have about a 6-man line right now.
Here's Jay Roberson back to pass. Floats it out to Davis, who takes it in at the 40 and out across the 40 to about the 40, maybe the 44-yard line. It's going to be well short of any kind of first down yardage. So that brings up 4th and long, 4th and about 5 or 6. And the teams change as Homewood again will punt it away. 2:34 now. On the out-of-bounds play, the clock stopped with 2:34 remaining in the first period from Waldrop Stadium. If you've just joined us, no score, as we really have a defensive battle here waging back and forth between Walter Welborn and Homewood in this 5A playoff game. Woo! The punt by Jay Roberson goes out of bounds at the 6-yard line. What a magnificent punt.
It could not come at a better time. In a defensive struggle like this, Coach Gann, his conservative approach so far, running the ball inside the tackles, the wide receiver screen, and now you've got field position. In a defensive struggle, you want to use the punt as a weapon, and they did then. 1st and 10, Walter Welborn from their own 6-yard line, and in a game like this, field position is everything.
A 49-yard punt by the senior quarterback, Jay Roberson, that puts Walter Welborn deep in the hole. It's going to be a little tougher for us to see the numbers as we see, but we'll remind you again that Shannon King and Jeremy Chesson are the setbacks. King with the ball now, running up through the middle of the line, out across the 10, but met head-on by Alexander Adamson. Good tackle by Zan, just met him head-on.
That time you saw some of the faking that goes into the Notre Dame box offense. That time Shannon King taking the snap, doing a complete 360, complete pivot, faking the handoff to the other back, and simply going straight up the middle like a quarterback draw. Gained fairly good yardage, but if you're a defensive lineman trying to follow all that and make the tackle at the same time, it is tough duty.
We'll call it 2nd and a long 5 as they shift, and Homewood sends the balance of their defensive secondary to the right. Here's the give by King again, out across the 20 to maybe the 22, 23-yard line. Good hard running by number 5, Shannon King for Welborn.
Henry Welborn having to come up from the secondary position to make the tackle on Shannon King. Shannon King, not a very big running back, 168 pounds, but he runs like a much larger back.
Well, and he's getting some good blocking, too.
He is.
He's picking his way through the blocking in the interior. So far, they're containing 2 to the inside. Here's the give to King again. King around the right side, but met head on as he crosses the 25-yard line. So give him a gain of maybe 3.
That time, Eric Rebel's putting a big hit on Shannon King.
Yeah, Henry Welborn also in with some of that action. Lee Thompson as well. We'll try to do a better job. That's a good point. We'll try to do a better job of giving you the Homewood defensive players who are in on these plays. They're going to make a tremendous difference in this game. All right, here's Carroll over quarterback, and then he shifts. The snap back to King, Shannon King, out across the 30 to the 33, maybe the 34-yard line, as Welborn continues to grind out the yardage. Let's see if they've got enough for a first down.
The officials will be measuring this one very close to a first down.
I believe they're going to call a timeout to measure it. It's hard to see from our vantage point here.
You know, it's interesting about this Notre Dame box, especially down on their own goal line, on their own 6. They really didn't change what they were doing offensively, because with that type of offense, you don't have a center or a quarterback under center to be careful with. You still have to snap that shotgun type delivery for your quarterback, or in this case, your blocking back. And if bad things are going to happen, they're going to happen on your own 6 or your own 45, or actually wherever you are on the field with this offense, a bad snap, and it could be disaster. But it doesn't change your offensive approach.
Absolutely. Obviously, Shannon King, a key to this Welborn offense. He's got 43 yards on the night with 8 carries so far, so he is the key. He and perhaps the center, I guess. A quick handoff that time to Jeremy Chesson, number 11, their fullback. And Chesson may get up to about the 35-yard line, but I think he's got plenty for the first down. Well, that was the first down. This would be the second. That's the end of the first quarter, and as the teams change ends, we'll remind you that it's no score still from Waldrop Stadium, 0-0, Homewood and Welborn. We'll be back after this message from our sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot Football. To watch the first snap of the second quarter, Fred Morris and I were just speculating on who knew the rules for sudden death playoff. This is a no-scoring contest, and it has every look of being a low-scoring contest. And that brings up the importance of the kicking game.
It surely does.
We were mentioning during the break there, Wes Steed kicked a 50-yard field goal in practice this week, but there's a big difference between kicking them in practice and kicking them in the game.
At this point, I think it's going to come down to field position and the importance of the 2 punters. That time you saw Eric Rebels make an outstanding tackle for no gain on number 5. That's a Shannon King. And it really could come down, if the game progresses as it's going right now, to the importance of the punting team to keep the other team backed up.
All right, on a 3rd and long, King looking to throw, and he gets outside around the Homewood containment. That pump fake held him off until just the last minute when he made the turn, and it was enough for the first down. Let me give you some stats from the first quarter here as we watch the chains move. Homewood rushed the ball 8 times and only put 18 yards in the stat book. 2 out of 3 in the passing department for 11 yards, total 39 yards total yardage for Homewood. Welborn, 10 rushes for 43 yards and 2 incomplete passes. So about the same in the rushing department, ours with a little more emphasis on the passing than theirs. Walter Welborn now, the line of scrimmage, the 45 with a 1st and 10. King, the ball carrier again. The fake to Chesson, and then he takes the ball and it's out just across the 50-yard line into Homewood territory.
That fake to Chesson that time froze the linebacker on this side, allowed King to gain 6 yards on first down. On the previous play, you were talking about the pump fake. It did have an effect on the Homewood defensive secondary due to the fact that Eric Mims, number 4, on previous series, was open behind the secondary twice on consecutive plays, so they're paying quite a bit of attention to Eric Mims.
Here's the snap, the give to King again. King with running room, confronted by Brian Greer. What is it that you call it when someone's blocked from the rear?
Good luck.
I don't see a flag down, so maybe, well, there's the indication. There it is. They picked it up.
I didn't pick up the number of the Walter Welborn player, but that was a difficult position to be in. Shannon King trying to decide whether to go inside or outside. His blocker was set up to block had he cut inside the Brian Greer.
Right.
And unfortunately, he chose to go out and chose the wrong decision. And
well,
fortunately for Homewood.
A key penalty there, as you see, they move the ball back, and the line of scrimmage now becomes their own 48. As they send in, I guess they're sending in a play. I'm sorry, the 44. Did I say 48? My fault. 44-yard line is the line of scrimmage. And we're looking at 2nd and 12.
So we have a
now
delay
out with a flag.
Game penalty.
Delay of game, Walter Welborn. We'll take it back 5 more yards. This could be an important point in the game, Fred.
Sure could. They've lost 20 yards.
Distract you now.
20 yards in 2 plays will really do some damage to your offensive frame of mind. Walter Welborn moving relatively well before the clipping penalty. Now the mass substitutions coming in from Coach Mike Battle slowed them down also, and now they have a 5-yard delay of game penalty to deal with, and that brings up
4th and a mile. No, it's 2nd and a mile, right? It's 2nd down and about 20. I see the first down marker at about the 45 of Homewood. Here's Shannon King back, throws it with all he's got. Oh, Scott Hogue tried for it, and he just couldn't get there fast enough. King was pressured.
Michael Flint that time put that pressure on.
Michael Flint with the pressure, King off balance. And so the pass incomplete now, bringing up 3rd, and it looks like would be 16, 3rd and 16, or 3rd and a long 16.
I'm not so sure about Shannon King's ability to throw the deep pattern at this point.
I'm not sure that they've got a deep passing game, but then with that Notre Dame box, what we've seen so far is they probably don't need it. Here now, Eric Mims in motion to his right. Shannon King again with the ball, looks to throw, rolls right and overthrows. Oh, complete! Eric Mims took it in at the 45-yard line, just past it. I believe it's going to be enough for first down.
Oh, my.
I couldn't see if it was tipped.
And I believe Eric Rebels tipped the ball.
It looked like it might have been tipped.
There, and Eric Mims comes down with it.
Oh, what a break for Welborn. What a break for Welborn with a first down now inside the Homewood 45.
My goodness. Talk about demoralizing your offense, losing 20 yards to penalties. Come right back, and a lucky play such as that really doesn't do a lot for your defensive frame of mind either.
All right, here's the give to Shannon King. King picking his way, grabbed by Damon Southward, but it looks like there's a penalty flag on that play. Is it possible he might have grabbed a face mask?
I believe Damon did. I believe he should.
He did indeed.
It's a dead giveaway when their offensive backs' feet leave the ground, and he does a pivot of his own that there's a face mask involved.
Face mask is the call. That'll be a major distance penalty, 15 yards against the Patriots, and now we've got a new line of scrimmage inside the 30-yard line, just inside Homewood's 30. 9:11 remaining in the half. This is the 3rd penalty Homewood has had for a total of 30 yards. Welborn, I believe, has 25 yards in penalties.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's number 8, Pat Harris, and you see him score there, chased by Rebels, but he just couldn't quite get to him. You know, they've been concentrating on Shannon King so long. When King rolled right, it was wide open for Harris.
That time, Stephen Trotter playing offense through the key block that time, kick out the defensive end. As you said, they've been concentrating on Shannon King in that off-tackle play. They brought the wingback in a misdirection type arrangement. Everyone pursued to the right, and the misdirection played perfectly, the kick-out block, and Pat Harris goes for the touchdown. Here's the attempt for the point after, and it is no good.
That could be a significant missed extra point. Let's take a look again at the touchdown. I believe we have it on instant replay.
Yes,
watch the play move to the right. Now here the give to Harris around to the left, and Homewood, an excellent block on the corner out there.
Right.
There was nothing that Homewood could do about it. So with 9:04 remaining in the half, Welborn strikes first blood, and the score is Homewood 0 and Walter Welborn 6.
That time, Robert McQueen pulling and then making that kick-out block on the Homewood defense. I believe it was the defensive end. It might have been Damon Southwood or Michael Flint. Didn't catch the number, but unfortunately it was one man against three, and really Pat Harris just turned on the Jets. It's time for the Homewood offense now to get on track and answer that scoring drop. I'm not sure how many plays that took. It seemed like an eternity.
All right, their kicker is Robert McQueen, and McQueen puts a toe into it, but it's going to come down to Elvin Skipper, who takes it in and goes out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Welborn put together, Fred, a magnificent drive, 12 plays covering 43 yards, 93 yards, according to Mike Whitten, 5.5 minutes almost off the clock. So they really ate the clock up and ate the ground up, too.
And you know what was interesting about that is as they were driving from their own 7-yard line, they drove into Homewood territory, lost 20 yards on consecutive plays, and then gained it back and scored on 2 plays later.
Here's Homewood's offense now. Let's see if we can get something going. Jay Roberson looks over the defense, is changing the play at the line. Movement on the left side of the Homewood line. So there's going to be a motion penalty, a legal procedure, and we'll go back 5 yards. Jason Zarzauer is in the game now, and I believe it was Jason that moved in that left guard position, number 53. Perhaps getting used to the snap count. Roberson's going to go back to pass, pressured and down behind the 20-yard line, down at the 19.
That's Robert McQueen.
The stop by McQueen the kicker, but more importantly, their defensive inside guard.
One of the leaders on that defense, Coach Battle, said Robert McQueen needs to have a big night if they're going to be successful in slowing down this Homewood offense, an offense that hasn't been lacking in the scoring department the last half of the season.
The pass out to Davis. Davis shy of the 20, but up to the 25 and tripped up, rolling to about the 29-yard line. A first down would be at the 40.
Correct. About the 39.5, 40-yard line. 40 would get you the first down.
A first down would be at the 40-yard line. This now will bring up third then and about 10.
Homewood getting the ball to Davis in the flat, allowing him to use that speed, and use it he did on that play, simply a step or two away from breaking that one.
So far in this ball game, Welborn has had 6 first downs and Homewood only 2. They've really done a job of containing Homewood defensively and playing a smooth offense. Roberson pressured again. This time the pass intended for Adamson, and Adamson came up just a little bit short. The pass underthrown. So the kicking team comes on, and once again, the Patriots will kick it away.
And once again, it was Robert McQueen putting heavy pressure on Jay Roberson, forcing him to release that ball before he intended, and bringing up the fourth down. See Dusty Smith going into the locker room now for a little medical attention on that ankle.
He will be missed. Here's Jay to punt. He gets another good punt away. Lots of hang time. Taken in by Roderick Morris. Morris running to the right. Now he makes the turn. Up the sideline. Chased by Zan Adamson.
Flag down.
Flag down way back at the 30-yard line. A flag down way back at the 30-yard line is the point where the flag was thrown. There are 2 flags, one at the 30 and one at the 35. I believe it's coming back, Fred.
I believe it will come back. I'm watching Damon Southwood stand at the 40-yard line with his hands on his hip as though to to say what's going on. They did get the penalty. It should be a clipping call, but I'm not sure the clip had anything to do with the man going all the way.
Yeah. Well, the mark-off takes it back to the 19-yard line. A first down from that point. But that touchdown was nullified by the penalty. And a big break for Homewood.
Sure was.
Another big break for Homewood. Now we've got an official timeout. The clock is stopped with 7:04 remaining in the half. Now they're ready to let him go. King and Chesson are the backs. The snap to Chesson this time, right up the middle, right up the pipe. Just put your head down and run out over the 25 to about the 27-yard line.
So far, Walter Welborn executing Coach Battle's game plan perfectly. He said coming into this game, they had to have sustained offensive drives and keep the ball away from the Homewood offense and Robert Davis, Kenneth Evans, Brian Greer, Roberson, and the crew. And they had to do that, and so far that's just what they've done, using up a majority of the time in this first half.
Okay, second and about 4 now. A long 3 perhaps. Here's the snap to King. King over right tackle, diving out across the 30, perhaps right at the 30. The first down is just about at the 30. So the officials will call, no, they've signaled that it is a first down. 6:15 now remaining in the half. Homewood's defense needs to stop this threat here, get some field position, and take it in to tie this thing up before we go into the half. A reminder, the Homewood Band is not here. The band is, at this hour, returning from its trip to New York and an appearance in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So we will have the Walter Welborn Band for you at halftime, and we're trying to secure permission from the folks at NBC to replay the band's performance in the Macy's Parade. Well, here's the give to Chesson. Chesson takes the snap, fakes to King, and runs out across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Good first down yardage by Welborn.
I was just noticing that on the previous set of downs, 7-8 yards on first down, came back with a short play for a first down. Again, 7 yards on first down, brings up a short 2nd and 3 as time is running down in the first half.
Here's the shift that's becoming all too familiar now. 2nd and 4, this time grabbed from behind. Who was it? Lee Thompson. Lee Thompson got his ankle from behind and stopped him for maybe a yard gain, if that. Brings up now 3rd and about 2. This is a critical 3rd down for Homewood.
It is. With a first down here, Walter Welborn can run some more time off the clock, at least 2 minutes. And Homewood stops them here, pressures the punt, a short punt, and they're back in business around their own 35-40-yard line.
Homewood still with 4 down linemen before the shift. 4 linebackers. The play coming to the right. Shannon King met hard that time. Scott Hogue tripped him up. Henry Welborn was in there. Welborn led that play. Rebels was there. Enough for the first down, though, and Welborn works now from their own, looks like their own 41.
Alexander Adamson that time filling the hole nicely from his cornerback position. That's one of, I guess, only 4 basic plays that Walter Welborn's run tonight from the running formation. And that time Alexander Adamson putting a sudden stop to Shannon King's yardage.
Here's the give to Chesson. Chesson along across left tackle and up to the 45-yard line as Welborn continues to move. You know, I don't know if they've picked this up or not, but the 2 new folks in this, the 2 non-traditional starters in this Homewood defense are on that left side. Our defense is right side, the Welborn left side. And that's where Shannon King has had tremendous success tonight, running over left tackle, running across left end. taking nothing away from the guys who are there, as we see a timeout on the officials, taking nothing away from the guys who are there, but Eugene Oliver out with a bad knee injury, and now Dusty Smith in the locker room with apparently an ankle injury, and it's making a difference. Now the snap to King, and he's going to the right side. Tripped up, but he still gets out and across the, looks like to the 50-yard line, right about at the 50.
Henry Welborn and Elvin Skipper that time putting the stop to him.
Again, bringing up a third and short.
Interesting. Coach Battle's offensive strategy so far tonight seems to be just the opposite of Irwin's last week. Irwin ran their first play away from Damon Southward that last week and gained 27 yards and never ran the same play again. Tonight, Walter Welborn seems content to run away from Damon Southward to the Michael Flint and Henry Welborn side, and has had some success doing it up until that play.
What a great hit by Rebels.
Eric Rebels and Henry Welborn coming up.
Welborn was in there too. Great defensive play that time. Now another timeout on the officials. They're going to measure it. Looks to be no more than a distance of a half a foot, maybe. That a 3rd and 1 play, I'm not sure Walter Welborn wouldn't go for it if they had 4th and 1 with 2:43 remaining in the half.
That would be the play call to go for it at this point. You've been so
first down
successful so far this half, and the first down negates any decision having to be made. But so far they have been very effective running away from, I call it the strength of the Homewood defense, solely because it's the wide side of the field.
That's right.
When we mention strength, we're talking about the wide side of the field and not players' strength.
Now the fake handoff, Shannon King to pass. Flags all over the place. We'll have to see what the call is. Looks like offensive pass interference, perhaps.
Be an interesting call. Number 8, Pat Harris, again streaking downfield. Brian Greer in a collision with him. Greer,
is the flag still on the ground, or has it been picked up?
He's picked that up. I'm sure Greer's contention is he was going for the ball.
Interference against Homewood is the call. Coach Thorson is not going to be happy about that.
Reasoning being, they could have taken Brian Greer's path to the ball into account. Pat Harris streaking downfield and Greer coming from an angle. They could be taking the angle he took into account when he actually had, they call it incidental contact, or the contact with Pat Harris.
That's a first down now at the Homewood 31 for Welborn, as they continue to enjoy the clock control offense that has put them up by 6-0 in this first half. Here now the take by Shannon King, and King out across the 30 down to about the 27. He slipped, or he might have gone further. He slipped as he attempted to cut back to the left. Skipper on the stop. There you see the clock. 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
Again, this misdirection is creating huge holes in the Homewood line, not due to the fact that Walter Welborn's offensive linemen are overpowering this Homewood defense or actually even pushing them out of the way. Simply the direction and the misdirection used by the Notre Dame box creates natural holes for the running backs.
A flag on the play that time. The official on the far side of the field dropped it as one of the backs flinched in the Welborn backfield. But then another flag came in even later than that, and I'm not sure if it's the same call. It would appear to be perhaps a motion penalty. We'll have to wait and see. No, a clip call. A clip call against Walter Welborn. Well, you know, we don't usually have to do much to keep up with the penalty statistics in a game like this, but I'll tell you something, tonight that's going to be the story of the game, or it has been so far.
This Walter Welborn offense uses a lot of shield blocking where you don't actually get a solid lick or push anyone out of the way. They use a lot of screen-type blocking, just get between the opponent and your ball carrier, make some type of contact, shield the ball carrier from the defensive player, and sometimes the angles they try and take create potential clipping situations, as was the case there. And
Homewood's been
Walter
penalized 5 times for 50 yards, and we'll give you the Welborn penalties in just a moment, but it has been significant. Now Shannon King looks to throw again. Pressured, receivers covered, dropped at the 48-yard line. Who gets up?
Play Michael Coggin.
Coggins.
Damon Southward and Michael Flint combining on that play.
Big play by the Homewood defense. The clock runs, 1:02 in the half. 55 yards in penalties. 6 penalties for 55 yards for Welborn. Wow.
One of those penalties negating a long punt return for a touchdown.
The clock moving now, 40 seconds remaining in the half. Here goes Mims in motion. King with the ball and the fake. King stopped at the 47-yard line. Who grabbed him? Coggins grabbed him.
Homewood taking a timeout now. The decision will be whether to go after this kick or try for the punt return. We know Homewood's very good on their punt return. Robert Davis returning, I believe, 3 so far this year for touchdowns. And this decision, do you go after it or do you set up the big return?
Well, it's 4th down and about, good grief, it's almost 30. What, 4th and 24? 25, I guess.
At this point, I think the best bet's going to be go after the kick. If you rough the kicker and you're penalized and it gives Walter Welborn a first down, there's still only 23 seconds to have to deal with, so it shouldn't be that difficult. And if you actually block it, could clear sailing to the end zone.
From the line of scrimmage, even a 15-yard roughing the kicker penalty wouldn't give you a first down.
No.
Davis is the lone receiver as McQueen goes into punt formation for Welborn. Homewood rushes only 2 around the edge. Here comes Robert Davis, signals for a fair catch. The ball will be down right at the 20-yard line. So Homewood will have 12 seconds to make something happen in the first half. We remind you to stay tuned with us during the halftime for what we hope will be a replay of the Homewood Patriots Band's performance of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and also a fine performance, I'm sure, by the Walter Welborn High School Marching Band. Here's Jay Roberson on the pitch to Robert Davis. Davis around left end. Davis still with running room, and he runs out of bounds and into the Welborn sidelines with time running out on the clock. 0 remaining on the clock. So that is the end of the first half. We'll be back with a fantastic halftime for you, so we remind you to stay tuned. The score at Waldrop Stadium is Welborn 6 and Homewood 0. You're watching Homewood Patriot football.
So Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It's the Homewood High Marching Band from Alabama. Directed by Pat Morrow, assisted by Cindy Wade. They lead off for a great day, and it sure is.
primetime performance. And we hope to be able to add on to our coverage at the end of the evening the Homewood Band and its performance in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This is Barry Copeland along with Fred Morris, and we've got the first half statistics. And if you're a Homewood Patriots fan, as most of you are, it's nothing to write home about, but let us give them to you anyway. Homewood had 10 rushes for 28 yards. In the passing department, attempted 5 and completed 3 with no interceptions. Passing yardage was only 20, so total yards for Homewood in the first half, 48 yards. For Walter Welborn, they rushed the ball 26 times for 129 yards. They completed only 1 pass of 4 attempted. Passing yardage was 17. That a significant 17-yard pass completion, by the way. Their total yardage, 146. We punted the ball 3 times for an average of 40 yards per punt. They punted the ball 3 times for an average of 27. Robert Davis on the first half had 6 rushes for 25 yards, and if that may be the best indication of what this football game has gone like so far. Perhaps the most telling statistic of all is the penalties. Homewood was penalized 4 times for 45 yards. Walter Welborn penalized 5 times for 55 yards. Each school was penalized once with a penalty declined. So Homewood 4 for 45 and Welborn 5 for 55. Fred, I'll tell you something. It's a little premature to even look ahead to next week at this point.
It absolutely is. The coach, Mike Battles, Walter Welborn's head coach, said this last week. We've got to make some first downs, and we've got to eat up some clock to keep the ball away from Robert Davis. Tonight, Walter Welborn has done just that. They had the ball. We don't have a time of possession statistic for you, but Homewood had the ball for 3 possessions. Count 4 possessions if you count the last play of the first half, 12 seconds to go.
12 seconds
so
remaining.
Effectively 3 possessions, and 1, possibly 2 of those, were 3 plays and kick, or at least 1 first down. So Walter Welborn has controlled the clock and thus controlled the game. And in doing so, they've controlled Robert Davis. Going into the second half, what we can look forward to, as Homewood fans can look forward to, is the fact that on any given offensive play, Robert Davis and Homewood have the ability to go all the way from anywhere on the field. And it just takes 1 play, 1 touchdown, and it's a tie ball game. And with West Steed, Homewood's ahead.
Yeah, that's a significant point, and I'm glad you mentioned it. The score is 6-0 on a failed extra point attempt by Walter Welborn. So should Homewood score and convert the point after, Homewood would have the lead, and that could figure big in the game. As we watch Robert McQueen tee the ball up and get ready to kick it off, a reminder that we have 2 players who are normally starters on the Homewood defense who are now officially out of the game. Eugene Oliver, of course, didn't even dress out tonight with a knee injury that is probably going to require some surgery later on. And also Dusty Smith now is out for the remainder of the game. Dusty is on the sideline, still dressed out, but the ankle injury indicates he will not be back. McQueen puts his foot into the ball, and we're underway for the second half as it goes down and looks like it may go, I started to say out of bounds, but no, it's picked up by Robert Davis. Davis is around the right side. He's got speed if he can get away from the remaining 2. He's away from the 1. Finally pulled down at the 25-yard line. A magnificent, huge return by Robert Davis, and it brings this Homewood crowd to their feet, as well it should. Robert Davis took the ball in, I would guess, on about the 15-yard line, and returns it all the way to the Walter Welborn 24. It's something we've all been waiting to see.
Yeah, and Elvin Skipper that time made the key block. Robert Davis taking the ball on the visitor's sideline, coming all the way across the field. Elvin Skipper making the key block to spring him on that long kickoff return.
Davis with the ball again, twisting and turning, this time down to about the 21. A 59-yard kickoff return to open the second half, and that's going to put some enthusiasm in this Homewood Patriot offense. Robert Davis's speed, that's the best example of his speed that we've seen this season, Fred. He just absolutely outran everybody on the field.
Well, Robert Davis right now appears to be a running back that somewhat has taken it upon himself to turn this game around. He's running very hard. You see right there, he's breaking tackles. He broke on 1 play in the first half, broke 4 tackles on 1 play. So he's running like a determined running back right now, and it could be the difference in this game.
Very little gain on that one, as most of the Homewood offense went right and the Walter Welborn defense went left, meeting Robert Davis head on. Brings up now 3rd. Is it 3rd and about 6? Here's the give again to Davis. He cuts out to the left, falling forward, trying to get down to the 15, but it's going to be well short. Looks like it will bring up possibly a field goal attempt. Wes Steed is in the ball game with 4th and 3.
It's a good move.
Wes is lining him up. It's an excellent move.
Sure is. You want to come away on your first drive in the second half with points, and 3 points is better than no points.
The line of scrimmage is about the 16. Jay Roberson will hold it at about the 24. Steed kicks it up and through. You can put 3 on the board as Wes Steed strikes blood for Homewood. We had said earlier in the game that he was kicking them well in practice all week. With 10:06 remaining in the third quarter now, Homewood is on the scoreboard. A 33-yard attempt for Wes, and successful at that. He'll get some instructions from Coach Thorson and then go right back out and tee it up again to kick off.
Again, the key there is that kickoff return by Robert Davis. As we talked just prior to the second half beginning, it just takes one play, and the speed of Robert Davis there almost put a touchdown on the board. Credit number 7 for Walter Welborn. That's Robbie Brooks for staying with him long enough to slow him down, allowing someone to catch up. But Robert Davis was off to the races if Robbie Brooks doesn't make an outstanding defensive play. The thing to keep in mind at this point is the Homewood offense down on the Walter Welborn inside the 25-yard lines and stalls.
Right.
And they do not take it in and capitalize.
Here's the kick. Steed kicks a low, squibbly kickoff taken in at the 15 by number 8 for Walter Welborn, Pat Harris. Harris is up to about the 28, maybe 29-yard line, even maybe across the 30. Yeah, they'll spot it down just across the 30. So Welborn will bring its Notre Dame box into effect again and try to move the ball, and we'll have a chance now to see what happened in the Homewood locker room during the half.
Lee Thompson that time making a tackle on that kickoff. See what adjustments Coach Thorson's made in this defense and how they're going to try and stem the tide. This Walter Welborn offense rushing for 129 yards in the first half alone.
All right, here's the give to Shannon King. Nothing new about that. King around right in. Nothing new about that.
It's like Henry Welborn.
Welborn in on that tackle.
Along with some help from Jonathan Hamaker pursuing the play.
Rebels also down in the thick of the action that time. Now bringing up about 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7. Looks like an official timeout here for just a moment. The clock is stopped with 9:19 remaining. The umpire giving some information to the Homewood team. Not quite sure what that's all about. Here's Welborn with 2nd and 7. The quick snap to Shannon King again. King around the right side again. Another 2 or 3 yards. Out to about the 37-yard line. Alexander Adamson in on the tackle.
This game's shaping up to be a much lower scoring affair than we had anticipated. And Homewood actually has not been in a very low-scoring contest since the Vestavia game at mid-season. They've been in some contests where they were tied late in the third quarter, McAdory for one, Owen the other early in the season, but they haven't been in a defensive struggle since the Vestavia game earlier this year.
3rd and 4. Shannon King again, caught from behind, but he keeps going. He's met head on at the 40, at the 38-yard line. I believe it's going to bring up 4th and 1.
Pretty short. Damon Southwood.
4th and 1. Was that Damon in on that tackle?
Damon making that play.
We had made the comment, Fred Morris and I made the comment to ourselves during halftime, Damon had not had an opportunity to be the defensive standout that we know he is, because a lot of the action went away from his side of the field during the first half. Now watch him lining up on the right side here.
Mike Battle that time at least reading the Post Herald, and that Damon was named Defensive Player of the Week for his play against Irwin last week, and Welborn choosing not to go at the designated Defensive Player of the Week rather than run away from him.
Ryan Greer calls for that fair catch and takes it in. The Homewood offense will start fresh now from their own 33. After a 28-yard punt by Robert McQueen, we'll see if we can get some offense generated here. As you had said earlier, Fred, and so true it is, all it takes is one break around one side or the other, and Davis has the speed to outdistance most of the teams, or all of the teams that we've faced so far this year. Here's Jay Roberson with 1st and 10 now. Jay on the give to Kenneth Evans. Evans out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Maybe the 37, maybe as far as the 37. Kenneth coming off a strong game last week. With, I believe, as I recall, 99 yards of offense. Robert Davis with 96, a very effective 1-2 combination.
Well-rounded offensive game plan last week. The interior line of this Welborn defense is playing extremely well against what is widely regarded as a very good Homewood offensive line. On the tackles, you see 2, 3, and 4 Welborn defenders on the tackle. They're pursuing hard. It makes it difficult for Homewood's offensive linemen to maintain their blocks for any length of time with Welborn pursuing as they do.
Well, that time to give to Robert Davis, and Robert got it almost up to the 40-yard line, but nonetheless, it's going to bring up 3rd and about 4. The first down would be closer to the 44-yard line, the ball just shy of the 40. It's a big 3rd down play for Homewood. Let's see if they've got the metal to make it happen here. The give to Davis again, stopped short of the 40. Walter Welborn is playing on that defensive line's playing probably the game of their season, I would guess.
They really are. Last week against Gadsden, they really shut out a very good Gadsden team. Gadsden scored 2 late touchdowns in the 4th quarter to make it look respectable, but it really wasn't. The defense that Walter Welborn possesses just simply shut down number 4 Gadsden, and they're having a very good night tonight, especially the interior line play and those linebackers, Tavares Elston, Stephen Carroll, Pilkington, and William McCain.
Now flags are down. If the penalty goes against Welborn, and they are backing up, that would be a first down. Offsides is the call. You see it there.
Looks as though they lined up in the neutral zone, Barry, and that's an automatic. Well, it will be looks to be a first down.
Automatic. That is a first down. They were 4th and 4. So with a 5-yard penalty, Homewood with a real break, and they've had their share of them this game. It's going to take that and everything else.
It appears so. Homewood offense needs to get together and get something going, some degree of consistency, whether it's Robert Davis or Kenneth Evans or the passing game.
We haven't seen the passing game except the pass out in the flat to Brian Greer. So it remains to be seen whether we'll see it or not. Here's the give to Evans. Evans goes nowhere. Maybe retains his field position. Steve Trotter for Welborn. One of those in on the tackle.
Robert McQueen, the other, playing an outstanding game from his down lineman position. In addition to his kicking duties, Robert McQueen is having an outstanding game for Welborn.
Loss of about a half a yard. The line of scrimmage now the pure 45. Here's the pitch out to Davis. Davis working his way up through the middle, out across the 50, maybe to the 49 of Welborn. That's the kind of yardage we need on first down. Becoming more and more clear that Homewood may have to pass the ball to break up that Welborn defensive secondary, move them back off of that line, and give our folks some breathing room there.
Well, they employ the four alignment, which we said earlier. They walk into a 6-1, a 7-man line, and they just dare you to throw the ball.
Here's the pitch out to Davis around the left end. Robert out across the 30, the 45 down to about the 42. It appears to be first down yardage. Homewood now beginning to generate some offense as 4:43 is the time remaining in the 3rd period. Sorry, I was just going to remind the folks, if they've just joined in, it's Homewood 3 and Welborn 6. Homewood 3 on the toe of West Steed, and Welborn with a touchdown run in the first half, but a failed extra point attempt. Now 1st and 10. Roberson fakes to Davis. The pass out to Greer, underthrown. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Pressure that time from this left defensive end from Welborn. That would be Taylor Youngblood applying pressure, getting his hands up, forcing Jay Roberson to actually throw around him and short hop the ball out to Brian Greer. Homewood having a little success in the second half attacking the corners of this Welborn defense. Trotter and Youngblood getting the worst of it so far.
Here's the fake through the middle to Kenneth Evans, and the pass in and out of the hands of, is that Alexander Adamson? I believe it is, Zan Adamson. Zan took a hard hit from behind.
Yeah, that's number 34. William McCain, a linebacker, playing deep pass protection, and when McCain hits you, he brings a load, 230 pounds. Bring up third down, and looks to be 3rd and 10 now.
Well, Homewood with 2 first downs in this drive, it sure would be good to have another one. Here's Roberson looking to pass, pressured, gets it away, overthrown again to Alexander Adamson. Hit hard by number 4, Eric Mims, as he fells, and taking the worst of it on those 2 pass attempts. So bringing up 4th and 10 now. Homewood will punt it away.
The Welborn defense they've been watching their game film, to say the least. That time, Stephen Trotter, the play action fake by Jay Roberson in the rollout fooled no one. Stephen Trotter applying pressure, and Roberson simply overthrowing Alexander Adamson, who at that time was being well covered by the secondary.
Jay gets a good punt away, a high hanging punt, fair catch signal for. Looks like it skipped in just before Damon Southwood could touch it down for a touchback. The clock is stopped with 4:04 remaining in the 3rd period as the teams change, and Walter Welborn will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20 following that 43-yard punt by Jay Roberson.
Well, it starts small. A little success on offense, a short drive. Got no points on that possession, but they put together several first downs
and
saw
did.
Several plays that were successful. 2 first downs on that drive now. And they are putting together a little bit of success and throwing the ball better in order to loosen up this Welborn defense. Now the Patriot defense needs to come through 3 plays and punt and give the ball back to this Homewood offense, and so they can continue their success.
Welborn gives to Shannon King. No news flash there. King running hard to about the 24-yard line. Bring up 2nd and 7. We were commenting during the half that Welborn brought a magnificent crowd all the way from the Anniston area. The stands opposing us are about as full as we have seen them this season. There's a good look at the Welborn line and backfield. The snap to King. He fakes the handoff and holds it. Contained beautifully by the defensive front.
Elvin
Skipper, I know, was in on that. I also see Coggins getting up.
Damon Southwood in on that one also.
Hogue was in. So good defensive play that time, bringing up now 3rd and about 3rd and 7 maybe for Welborn from their own 23-yard line.
This Homewood defense has analyzed this Notre Dame box, and they have come to the conclusion that Shannon King is going to carry the ball about 85% of the time, which he has in the second half.
Here's the fake to Chesson, the give to King. King out over the 30 to about the 33. We've got an injury on the play. Like
Eric, make that Michael
Coggins. Down and right back up, walking it off. We'll have to see whether they pull him out or not. But the Homewood defense holds as Robert Davis and Brian Greer go back for the punt. After that gain of 5, the line of scrimmage now the 28, and it's 4th and 2. Big punt. Davis back, takes it in at his own 33 and falls. The knee touchdown at about the 32-yard line. Robert trying to shift directions, and the field a little slick with the rains that we had earlier today and last night, and the dew. He just couldn't hold his footing. So 1st and 10 now for Homewood from their own 32-yard line.
Difficult punt to handle also, Barry. A deep, high spiral drove Robert way back, and had to actually catch the ball over his shoulder. And when he turned to come upfield, as you said, the turf simply gave way.
It was an excellent punt, a 40-yard punt, as a matter of fact. Homewood with not bad, but not good field position. Jay Roberson's going to pass. He rolls right, looks right, way overthrown. If it was intended for Alexander Adamson, it was overthrown by about 5 or 6 feet.
Could be a broken pattern that time. It looks as though Jay wasn't trying to take anything off the ball, simply throwing it downfield. It looked to be more of a broken pattern than a bad pass.
Yeah, he knew that he overthrew it a little bit. He was visibly upset at the end of that play. He says, we'll do a better job next time. Brings up 2nd and 10. Homewood trying to get something going offensively against Walter Welborn. This is the second of the playoff games this 1990 season. Here's Robert Davis right across left tackle and out across the 40-yard line to about the 41. Davis hit them before they knew what happened that time. There was a hole that opened up there and allowed him to break through, and that made a lot of difference.
Homewood going with wideouts now to spread this Walter Welborn defense. They're using a more of a spread formation. You see Michael Coggin there getting some assistance. Looks to be a shoulder injury. You just got a
holding it tight. Maybe he got a little bit of a stinger there. Hope it wasn't separated.
The Homewood offense that time spreading this Welborn defense and allowing those interior linemen, Jonathan Hamaker, Lusko, Chris Cowan, and Steve Carpenter, Stan Lee, to get the angles on these defensive interior linemen and popping Robert Davis for what looked to be about a 10.5-yard gain.
Well, we made it, but I'm not sure it was by much more than about an inch or two, but it was a first down nonetheless. Call-out line of scrimmage is short 42. Here's Jay Roberson with 1st and 10. He gives the first man through, Kenneth Evans, who meets a host of Welborn defenders right at the 43-yard line.
Just under a minute now to go in the third quarter, and Homewood having some degree of success in this third quarter, more than they had in the entire first half, where they only had, I believe it was 3 first downs.
Second and about 9 now with 40 seconds remaining in the third period. Here's the fake to Evans. Jay rolls, looks, throws to Alexander Adamson. Did he get it? Yes, he did at the 49-yard line of Walter Welborn. I couldn't see because he was turned away from us.
Looks to be the spot. They're going to mark him just short, make it 3rd and 1 from the Walter Welborn 49.
All right, 3rd and 1 now. Let's go for another first down here. Keep possession. The clock running now, 10-9. We're going to take a timeout here in just a moment. May get one more play off. Jay wants a play. 2 seconds, 1 second. The ball is snapped as time runs out. Maybe we should have waited on that one because Davis is going to come up short. It's going to be 4th and maybe a full yard now, and why we were hurrying to get the ball off, I'm not sure. The clock has run out. This is the end of the third period. We'll be back with the fourth quarter. Following this from our sponsors, you are watching Homewood Patriot Football. Now officially the fourth quarter here at Waldrop Stadium in Homewood as you watch the 171st Air Force ROTC color guard lower the flag for us, and we're getting ready now for the probably one of the bigger decisions of the game by the Homewood coaching squad. They're looking at 4th and 1, 4th and a little bit less than 1. As Homewood hurried the snap on a 3rd and 1 play to try and get the ball snapped before the end of the third quarter, and they come up short as Robert Davis failed to gain. They now look at 4th and 1. The score is Homewood 3 and Welborn 6.
Well, you've got to think that the offensive staff felt confident about gaining 1 yard. I can't believe more than a handful of times this entire season where they did not gain 1 yard when they needed it.
They're going for it.
Play
Here's the play of the game, probably. A bad snap, a fumble. Roberson falls on it, but it doesn't matter. It goes over on downs. It goes over on downs.
Now is not the time to panic, though.
No, absolutely not. 12 minutes to play in this football game. A field goal ties it. A touchdown would probably win it, as slow as the offensive plays have been developing here.
Right. What the coaches need to do at this point is get that offensive team over, reassure them that that is not the end-all for their offense. Simply one play at the beginning of the fourth quarter and one play does not a game make, especially one as close as this.
Homewood with a 4-man front. Drop a linebacker back. Here's Shannon King going to go for all the groceries. Way overthrown. Alexander Adamson defending on number 34, William McCain. McCain, who's done it all for Welborn tonight. But that time it was not to be. The ball was a good 4 or 5 feet over his head.
I believe it might have even surprised Alexander Adamson that time. He had a better chance at catching that ball than McCain did.
Well, Welborn comes up with excellent field position on the 4th and 1 missed attempt by Homewood. They are inside Homewood territory at the 49. 2nd and 10 now is the call. They've had success all evening long with the Notre Dame box, and they stay with it as they bring Eric Mims in motion to the right. Here's the give to Shannon King. The handoff to Harris. Harris runs into his own man at the 49, but falls forward to about the 46-yard line, maybe closer to the 45. That'll bring up a 3rd down now and about 6. Maybe 7.
The Homewood defense now starting to smell out these misdirection plays in this Notre Dame box. That is the same play they scored on in the first quarter from about 45 yards out. And the Homewood defense has adjusted well to this Notre Dame box offense and actually put a stop to it in the second half so far.
Shannon King to pass right over the middle, tipped and deflected just like it was the last time. I couldn't see who got a hand on it. Might have been Regals. Well, I'm told now it was Coggins, Michael Coggins, who got a hand on it.
Just what you wanted to happen.
I'm sorry, Lee Thompson. Excuse me for interrupting. It was Lee Thompson who got the tip that time.
Coming up short on 4th and 1, what you needed was 3 plays and out. Walter Welborn obliged with 2 passing plays, something they haven't been effective with all night. 2 passing plays and 1 running play, and it's Homewood ball again.
That time we rushed. The referee says it was incidental contact, so no flag, no punt roughing the kicker flag. Brings a chorus of boos from across the way and from the Welborn radio team, as a matter of fact.
I think they might have gotten a hand on the ball in some way to deflect it, and if you touch the ball, it's no penalty.
A 30-yard punt that time, and Homewood goes into business on its own 16-yard line on the far hash mark. Oh my goodness, if we could sustain a drive, Fred, bring it down and score, it could be the difference in the game. Here's Davis. Davis running hard out around the 30. Runs into Coach Bob Newton at about the 36-yard line. But my goodness, what a pumped up young man he is. Hard run by Robert Davis. The line of scrimmage now will be the 33. So first down yardage for Robert Davis and much, much more.
And good blocking on the corners that time. Kenneth Evans with the kick-out block, allowing Robert Davis to use that speed to get to the outside. And it's simply just good fortune that someone was left in the Welborn defense to push him out of bounds.
They needed that to come back from the mishap at the start of the 4th quarter. Davis again around the right side, out across the 45 to the 46. Moved the chains again, I believe. Yes, indeed, another first down. Now Welborn's got to be thinking, this is the team we've heard about. This is the team that we had heard about. This is the back we had heard about. An official timeout now. Momentarily, as one of the Welborn players, number 35, Chan Woodward, he's their nose guard, middle guard on defense. Woodard heads to the sidelines. The clock stops then with 10:31 remaining, and you see a few of the Homewood partisans that have packed this side of Walbrook Stadium tonight. Woodard is one whose name we've not called a lot tonight, but he's been in on every play from his middle guard position on defense. And the Welborn defense has been very effective up to this point in stopping the Homewood offense.
The Homewood offense has turned the tables on this defense, just as they had very little to do in the first half. They've had the ball the majority of the time here in the second half.
Roberson on a keeper, but he goes nowhere. He maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage. We'll have to see where they mark it down. Looks like it'll be about the 47-yard line, maybe the 47 and a half. Not much yardage gain there. 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9. Ball still in Homewood territory as Roberson looks at 2nd and 9. Now here's the pitch to Davis, trying to find his way through. He gets maybe another yard to about the 49. Call it 3rd and 8.
Victor Nunez that time making the stop, along with Robert McQueen, the interior of that Welborn line. The Homewood offensive line has had good success in the second half, running at the corners. Stanley Lee doing a good job blocking on Tavares Elston on the previous play, just indicative of the approach Homewood's taking in the second half. Set up your block well and maintain them, and they been successful so far.
3 receivers out. Jay wants to pass. He looks and throws it with everything he's got. It was not to be at the 22-yard line as Greer reached for it as he was falling, but he just couldn't get to it. Jay threw off balance. He threw off his back leg.
Looks as though he had heavy pressure that time from number 35. That's Chan Woodard in the game again. Chan Woodard applying heavy pressure to Jay Roberson, even pile driving him into the ground as he was releasing that ball off the back foot. Simply just nowhere else to go.
Unofficially, Robert Davis with 18 rushes and 89 yards now as Jay Roberson will kick it away. Jay gets another excellent punt away. He's had a magnificent night punting. Oh, the timing was everything, but the ref says that he hit him too soon, and I don't know. I'd like to see that one over if we've got it on instant replay.
It was awful close. You have to credit Damon for timing it so seemingly just right, but you have to credit that I believe it's number 25 for the magnificent catch, even able to hold on to the ball.
Let's take a look at it again, and we'll be our own armchair officials here as we look at it. It won't make any difference, but there you see the punt is away.
Damon's approaching it, and
hard to see, but the receiver for Welborn, number 26, Roderick Morris, did a good job of holding on to the ball.
Sure did. It was awful close. You have to give him at least 2 yards to catch it, and it was awful close.
A 41-yard punt by Jay Roberson that time.
So Welborn's one to make them punt again.
Well, Welborn doesn't like the idea of, of the field position they would have had even with that ball being caught. So,
plus you force the coverage team to run another 40, 50-yard sprint, and potentially the thinking here is something may give a break somewhere in the kick coverage.
Homewood with fourth down, about 21 or 2. Will punt again, a high pass from center. Jay gets another punt off. This one a low, squibbly punt. It rolls across the 30 down to about the 36-yard line is where it will be down. Good coverage by the Homewood special teams. So Welborn goes into business now with the ball at their own 26, 8:36 remaining in the final quarter. That time, a 40-yard punt from Jay Roberson on the heels of a 41-yard punt just a few moments before. Jay has done a good job tonight in the kicking category for us.
He has. Again, Homewood asks its defense to go out and stop this Welborn offense, this Notre Dame box, on 3 plays and a punt in order to give it back to the offense. They're asking a lot right now. Time is running out there with less than 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go.
Whistles blow as Shannon King heads right up the middle with the football tucked under one arm, and there was a gigantic hole waiting on him there. You know, interestingly enough, Welborn has only 18 yards of offense here in the second half, indicative of Homewood's possession, clock, ball control. But the score remains 6-3 with Welborn on the top side of that score as you watch an official, the signal of the legal procedure against Welborn. And that brings up first and 15. And the line of scrimmage now, the 21-yard line. Here's the give to Shannon King, stopped at the 20-yard line. He may have lost a yard. Second and 16 now the call. Deeper and deeper they go into their own territory.
Henry Welborn that time coming up first, and Damon Southward stopping any type of wide aspirations Walter Welborn might have had.
Draw a blank for a second there?
I drew a blank. I wanted to call him Walter Welborn. Which is
Here's second and 16. Shannon King with the fake pitch out again. He keeps the ball and gets it across the 21 to maybe the 22.
Coggin that time.
Michael Coggin.
Eric Weeble shooting through there to make a play for a loss, and brings up a difficult situation now for Walter Welborn deep in their own territory. A third and looks to be about 3rd and 16, and one of the coaches out on the field pleading his case with the official. I'm not sure what he.
What do you think he might be pleading?
His beef is. It could be a defensive type of holding, or maybe the technique that some of the Homewood Patriots are using to battle this Notre Dame box, rather than a penetrating type defense. Perhaps they're just locking up and using their hands in such a way that referee or the coach feels that it gives them an illegal advantage.
Well, I don't know whether he's going to be successful with that or not, but in the meantime, our coach, defensive coordinator Mike Thorson, uses the timeout to good advantage, talking to the Homewood squad. They're down on one knee at about the 33-yard line. The stats indicate that Welborn has no first down so far in the second half. A dramatic turnaround from the stats in the first half, where Walter Welborn just put it all on Homewood offensively. Thorson comes off the field.
This is a big play, 3rd and 16 now.
Yeah, third and about 16 now for Welborn. Here they bring Eric Mims in motion. The snap to Shannon King. King looks to throw. It's complete. It's complete to Stephen Trotter out at the 33-yard line, but he's going to be, I think, 3 yards short.
3 yards short.
Bring up a 4th and 3, is that right? And here comes their special team. So the defense holds. Davis will check into the game and drop back along with Brian Greer for the Welborn punt. This could be the best shot that we've got at good field position in the ball game.
Again, you can sense this Homewood defense getting stronger and the offense becoming more motivated, more enthusiastic as they come on the field, and there's more crispness to the offense at this point. Walter Welborn looks to be a little tired on offense, and not really as effective as they were.
Look for the wall on the far side of the field.
We've seen it all year long run effectively, and I believe you're right. They have positioned Robert Davis to the left side of the field, the visitor's side, and to the lower part of your screen is Brian Greer. So if they're going to set up the wall this way, that would give Robert Davis enough time to use that speed.
Well, the referee is giving some information to both coaches as we again stop the clock with an official timeout. The referee in tonight's game is Dale Arnett, and messages are being sent to both benches now, and I'm not sure what the information is.
A message to lower the volume on our electronic band this evening.
I see. And we never did explain that there is no band tonight, but the music you hear was recorded previously because our band is not here this evening. They're on the way back from New York. And we decided we needed to have some band, and it was recorded and is being played back. We'll try to give you some third quarter statistics in just a minute. As the Welborn punt gets underway, Greer takes it in at the 40 and comes to the near side, across the 45 and out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. The wall was set up on the far side. Greer brings it to the near side, but that was where the punt came, and that's where the blocking was for him. Take a look at some statistics from the third quarter. Now, this is so far in the game. Robert Davis with 18 rushes and 85 yards. One kickoff return of 57 yards, though, significantly to put us in position for the field goal. Now here's Homewood to give to Robert Davis across the 50 down to about the 46 of Walter Welborn. If Homewood can put together some offense, the clock's running now at 6:43 remaining in the football game, get us down there to where we can score, I believe we could pull it out. But they've got to maintain the offensive momentum.
They've had some success in this second half on that play. Chris Lusko and Jonathan Hamaker paving the way for Robert Davis. Kenneth Evans leading through the hole, and a good gain. Looks to be second down in about 3 yards.
Okay, Roberson will look back to pass. A flag in the backfield. Complete to Brian Greer down at the 2-yard line, but there is a flag in the backfield, and I believe it's going to nullify it. Illegal procedure.
Motion on Homewood.
Motion on the part of Homewood. It'll come back. Greer fought for the ball and caught the pass at the 2-yard line, but it'll come back.
An interesting sidebar to that play. There was motion in the backfield, so we knew there was a motion penalty. However, there was defensive pass interference on the long pass. Brian Greer being face guarded by the secondary man for Walter Welborn, possibly I believe it might have been Eric Mims or Roderick Morris, one or the other, but the official was reaching for his flag as he was running across field. He was watching the face guarding and actually reaching back for the flag, but when Brian caught the ball, he did not throw the flag.
Here's the pitch out to Robert Davis. Davis across the 45 to maybe the 44-yard line, but probably not enough for the first down. We'll have to see where they spot the ball. First down yardage would be at the Walter Welborn 43 and a half. The clock is stopped with 5:51 now as the officials want to look at it. They'll bring the chains all the way across. In the meantime, Coach Gann calls his quarterback, Jay Roberson, over to the sideline to talk while we've got the official timeout. We can tell you that as of the end of the third quarter, Welborn had 35 rushing attempts for 151 yards, 6 passes for 29. Homewood had 27 rushing attempts for 97 yards, attempted 11 passes, 4 complete.
Thinking of buying or selling a home?
Offensive play of the game, and Jay Roberson has the first down. He just went right over the top of Chris Cowan at center and moves the ball down to the 41-yard line. 5:49 remaining as the clock stops with the first down.
Carpenter, Cowan, and Hammaker that time paving the way, and Jay Roberson getting more than enough for the first down, and first and 10, new set of downs for the Patriots, moving with 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this game.
Here's Jay Roberson. He looks to pass. He fakes short. He pumps and throws long. It's Brian Greer. Complete. Complete at the 8. 7. Okay, we're in business now. What a catch. Brian just repeated the magnificent catch that he made a few moments ago that was nullified by the penalty.
Again, you saw Jay Roberson giving the pump fake. It was simply a shake and bake pump fake, and Brian Greer was off to the races, and again made a great play over Eric Mims, who again was face guarding Greer, and made a great catch inside the 10-yard line.
A 34-yard pass play from Jay Roberson to Brian Greer as you watch Robert Davis try for yardage around left end. Davis won't get anywhere with it. The ball's still marked down at about the 8-yard line. Maybe he got a half a yard. We're not in 4-down territory now at this point because well, we may be in 4-down territory at this point. I don't know. We'd have to see what the coaches would do. We're inside the 10, but whether they might go for a field goal on 4th down or not remains to be seen. We hope we don't have to do that. Here's the pass. Just overthrown. Zan Adamson all alone in the end zone, and the pass just thrown out of his reach. That's going to bring up 3rd now and about 7.
That's a tough pass to miss. Adamson alone in the center of the end zone. We've seen them run that play several times this year with great success. Simply this one play threw it on the wrong side of Adamson.
Well, Jay was moving to the right, and the ball went on the right side of Zan Adamson. That's the toughest thing for a quarterback to do, is throw against the grain, so to speak.
This is 3rd down and a big
3rd
play.
and 7 now. 3rd and 7, a big play for Homewood.
In the past, they've run the flat pass to Robert Davis with great success.
Here we're going to fake to Davis. Jay throws as he's hit, and Zan Adamson has it, takes it in for the score. Oh my goodness, this old heart can't stand much more.
Oh my.
Homewood's going to go on top by a score of 9-6 with 4:53 remaining. We'll wait for the extra point. And then we'll show it to you again. It's going to be one of the most exciting plays I've seen this season, folks. Jay Roberson hit from behind, falling forward, throws. Alexander Adamson complete, and by the way, all alone for the pass reception. Wes Steed puts it through. It's good. Timeout on the field with 4:53 remaining, and it's Homewood 10 and Welborn 6. Let's look at it again. Watch Jay Roberson hit from behind, throws as he's falling, and there's Alexander Adamson. He just walks into the end zone. He just walks in.
Adamson getting lost in the traffic in the center. Damon Southward going downfield on a pattern, taking the coverage with him. Adamson slipping to the outside, as I said, in the traffic that was in the center there. You see Roberson going down and just getting the ball off He knew Adamson would be there. Adamson was there. It touchdown Homewood, and Homewood is in command of this game. Next week.
This brings up next week as a subject for discussion.
It sure does. Etowah is playing Pell City at this moment. If Pell City wins, Pell City comes to Robert Waldrop Stadium. If Etowah wins, Etowah is 10-0 at this time, or 11-0 now. If they win, the Patriots will travel to Gadsden.
Well, as you see West Steed kick it off, and man, West really put a toe into it that time. Taking in on the 5. Robbie Brooks brings it up to the 26-yard line and hit hard there by Scott Hogue and Henry Welborn. That time Homewood put together a 7-play, 53-yard drive. It didn't take a lot of time off the clock. My goodness, what a heart stopper here.
You could feel it coming with this offense coming together and moving steadily downfield. More and more success as the game wore on in the second half especially. The more they were out there, and their defense, to give them credit, kept giving the ball back to the offense, and they came through.
Well, you hear the crowd chanting defense, defense. As you look at Shannon King, that's what they get from Damon Southward. Defense, defense. Henry Welborn playing a magnificent game as a sophomore. And the clock continues to run. 4:16 now remaining in the football game. Nobody's left, Fred.
Nope.
There are no headlights.
Not at all.
Welborn's offense has just been shut down in the second half. They have 12 yards passing and 22 yards rushing total for the second half. They had something on the order of almost 150 yards of offense in the first half. As the crowd chants defense, you look at 2nd and 10 for Welborn. Here's Shannon King back to pass, but being pressured by Southward. He passes it. The pass is incomplete to number 26, Roderick Morris. Rebels and Hogue defending. Skipper also, and Morris maybe heard him coming. 3:40 now remaining in the football game as the clock stops. No more interested observers than 3 guys standing on the bench on the Homewood side, and one of the 3 is Robert Davis to get a little bit better view of the field.
And speaking of standing through the fourth quarter, there are 3 guys standing on the benches or the bleachers right in front of our press box. One of them being Jay Roberson's father, who I don't believe was sat down since the 3-minute mark in the third quarter.
Mims comes in motion. Shannon King to pass right over the middle. Intercepted. Henry Welborn intercepts that ball and turns it over with 3:32 remaining in the fourth quarter and in the football game. I'll tell you what, Wayne, he's playing the ball game of his life so far, isn't he? He's a sophomore.
Surely is.
Number 2, Henry Welborn.
Outstanding job. Thrust in the game early in the first quarter.
Let's look at it again. Watch for number 2, Henry Welborn. There he is. He picks it off from his defensive position, and he's hit hard as he comes down with it. But Homewood's in business at the 35-yard line of Walter Welborn. Time is out for Welborn. As you look at the celebration on the Homewood sidelines, Welborn wants to stop and think about it a minute. I think they feel this ball game having slipped away.
Slipping away right now. This Homewood offense is in the mode to put the game away. They can run those off-tackle plays with Robert Davis. They can run Kenneth Evans up the middle, and if they want to get fancy with it, they can even run the bootleg pass with Jay Roberson. There are so many weapons they can throw at Welborn right now that any one of the 3 or 4, if they are successful, will take Welborn out of this game, and they may well be out of it anyway. I don't really see anything happening in this last 3 minutes and 32 seconds from that Notre Dame box that would allow them to score on a long play.
The picture you just saw of Coach Mike Thorson may have been a picture of the key to the game. The defense's ability to adjust to and contain the Notre Dame box to allow the offense time to get geared up and get Davis moving. And I'll tell you something, probably the most significant statistic of this second half is that Welborn has not made a first down. They outshone Homewood in the first half with 10 first downs to Homewood's only 2. They have not made a first down in the second half of play. Homewood's really come alive. It's been a magnificent football game, and we still got 3 minutes and 32 seconds of it remaining. As you look at Jay Roberson with the 1st and 10, here's the give to Robert Davis. Davis out across the 33 down to about the 31-yard line. It's by no means over, but we're in a heck of a lot better position than we were 10 minutes ago, aren't we? Most of the fans indicating now run, clock, run with 3:11, 3:10 remaining. We'll try and do a job of keeping you up to date here. We send Whalen wide to the right and Greer wide to the left, but the give is to Davis right up the middle, and it's going nowhere. Stopped at the 30-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd and long, 3rd and about 7.
If Homewood fails to make a first down on this play, they could conceivably run off another 45 seconds, which would give Welborn the ball back with just under 2 minutes to play.
Here's the pitch to Davis. A block on the outside by Kenneth Evans. Davis across the 30 down to about the 28-yard line. Nobody sitting at this point in the Homewood stands. Everybody on their feet. Waiting to see what will happen here. Good shot from Jack Munger, who runs one of the cameras for us down on the 20-yard line. Wes Gray, our other cameraman on the 20, and Dave Rothoff up atop the press box. Our 50-yard line camera. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention two folks who do a great job of spotting for us here in the press box, Mike Whitten and Wayne Glasscock. Danny Calley's our spotter and unofficial statistician on the sidelines. In the production booth, production truck tonight, Tommy King switching it for us and bringing us all those instant replays. And normally we have Dudley Heidemann as a part of the broadcast crew, but Dudley is running the electronic band tonight. As you take a look at some of the Patriot Band parents there. Time is out as the clock stops with 2:06 remaining. Again, the score, Homewood 10 and Welborn 6. We didn't give you the score much when it was 6-0 against us. Now about every 2 minutes I want to give the score here. Welborn has attempted, these are second half statistics. This is for the whole game. Welborn has attempted 9 passes and has completed 2 passes for 29 yards. 35 rushing attempts for 151 yards. But only 34 yards in the second half. And therein lies the story of the second half and the football game. Let's see what happens now with 4th down and about 7. We'll obviously try for it. Davis is going to be unsuccessful as he stopped at the 28-yard line. So Welborn will take over on downs, but with only 2:02 remaining, and they are with the line of scrimmage of their own 28. Time for the defense to come to the rescue once again. Welborn going with a quick line. Here's the snap, the give to King. King looking to pass. Broken up at the 40-yard line. It had been intended for William McCain, number 34, but there were at least 3 people defending him.
Not much doubt what Walter Welborn's going to do right now. Shannon King, their blocking back, as they call him in the Notre Dame box setup, will try and pass them to victory. I don't see that happening. I don't see this defensive secondary for the Patriots as patched up as it is right now. That secondary of Elvin Skipper and Zan Adamson and Brian Greer, Scott Hogue, and Henry Welborn giving up the big play this late in the game.
Here's Shannon King. He looks to throw again after rolling left. He's hit as he throws, and it's complete. It's complete to McCain. McCain is out to the 43, maybe the 44-yard line. Clock stops with 1:42 remaining now. The chains move as Welborn gets another first down. Time to stiffen if you're on the defense now. Welborn up to the line quickly again. Homewood still sorting it out. Here's the snap to Shannon King, who drops way back. He throws from his own 35. All he's got, incomplete. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Eric Mims, down at the 37-yard line.
Elvin Skipper that time.
Skipper defending, Greer defending, Welborn back defending, Hogue defending. And you know something, I made a comment earlier about 2 guys who've had to come in and play as non-traditional starters on this team because of injuries. And I think it's time that we say hats off to Henry Welborn and to Alexander Adamson. Adamson with the only Homewood touchdown of the night. And Henry has been just magnificent on defense. They have filled in beyond anybody's wildest dreams. They've just done a great job. Here's Shannon King. He'll throw again. Complete to McCain. McCain still moving forward down at about the 42-yard line, maybe the 43.
And McCain gets out of bounds in order to stop the clock. A minute 21 seconds to go in this game. And Walter Welborn moving down the field, surprisingly by using the pass.
Welborn moving at will.
And at this point, that extra point that they missed early in the game plays a big, big role because
a field goal does them no good.
Overtime.
Here's Mims in motion to the right. Homewood needs a big defensive play. King throwing on the run. No, incomplete, says the official at the 35-yard line. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Taylor Youngblood. I'm sorry, Stephen Trotter, number 1. It looked like a number 2. Okay, that stops things for just a minute.
Heavy pressure that time by Michael Flint on Shannon King, forcing him way outside, and a bad pass actually. A lot of pressure that time by Michael
Flint. Second and 10 now. Second and 10. The line of scrimmage. The Homewood 43 for Welborn. Time is out. Homewood wants a timeout. Probably a well-advised timeout. 1:02 on the clock, but that's plenty of time for Walter Welborn, and they're moving. Coach Thorson wants to talk to the defense for just a minute.
They're flooding the patterns with so many receivers that anything could happen. One of their only 2 receptions in the game was actually a deflection that got them a first down. So they're putting so many receivers in the pattern, just about anything could happen with a tip ball or a batted ball, and that's no way to lose a game, and Coach Thorson wants to make sure that doesn't happen. They've got, I believe they probably have 5 defensive backs in at this point, or will be putting them in, because the Notre Dame box is not one of the offenses you'd use to score from 40 or 50 yards out with only a minute 2 to go in the game.
Fred, I don't think they can afford to run the ball because the clock will continue to run.
And I'm not sure how many timeouts they have left. Maybe
they have one timeout remaining. Walter Welborn has 1 timeout remaining. Okay. So that's the key. They've got to throw the ball and throw the ball successfully, stopping the clock on the out-of-bounds plays or first downs. And we haven't seen much of a sideline threat, to tell you the truth, as far as passing patterns. Here now, second and 10 as Welborn goes. Here's the fake. Shannon King to pass. Oh, just out of the fingertips of number 26, Roderick Morris. Morris had some room to run down there at about the 38-yard line, but the ball just thrown past him. That brings up third and 10. Coach Thorson out almost with the defense on the field at the 35-yard line.
The type of patterns that Walter Welborn's implementing at this time, they lend themselves to, with perfect timing, a touchdown for Homewood. We saw Brian Greer take one back 65 yards earlier in the season on those crossing patterns.
Homewood with 7 defenders. Intercepted by Brian Greer. Greer takes the ball in. He brings it down across the 40. Swinging left now to the 30, to the 25, 20. He's being chased. Will he be caught? Yes, he's caught at the 5-yard line. Brian Greer with another interception, a magnificent interception and return. That puts Homewood in business with 41 seconds remaining at the 5-yard line. Let's watch it again. You'll see Brian Greer on the interception.
Cutting across the pattern as we were talking about just prior to this play.
Right in the middle. He cuts across in front, and watch him run. Great move right there.
The only player with a chance to catch him is Roderick Morris. He catches him just at the 5-yard line. Homewood again in business. 41 seconds to go. Really nothing to do. Homewood will move on to the quarterfinals of the playoff with the clock stopped at 36 seconds now. Homewood can simply down the ball and run out the clock.
Homewood calls a timeout. They want to make sure they know what they're doing. And it gives us a chance to savor what is probably the most dramatic win of this so far. We've got now 12 games in our season under our belts. Let me give you some quick statistics here while we do have timeout. Most of this coming in the second half. Homewood has rushed the ball 35 times for 121 yards. Robert Davis with 22 rushing attempts for 102 yards on the night. Jay Roberson has passed the ball 13 times with 5 completions for 62 yards. So Homewood's offensive generation has come almost all during the second half.
That's right. The downfall of the Panthers from Walter Welborn is not putting points on the board in that outstanding first half that they had, over 130 yards rushing and 17 passing, but they generated very few points, just 6. and they missed the extra point. They generated no points to go along with that, and you can't keep a good offense like this Homewood team down for long if you continue to give them the ball, which is what their defense did and is exactly what they had to do.
Hats off to Walter Welborn, though. They played a magnificent football game tonight. There's Homewood, first and goal now from about the 5-yard line. Jay Roberson will touch the knee down and the clock will run. Welborn probably will stop the clock using their last timeout. They may not. It's a moot point at this point. The clock is moving with 24, now 23 seconds remaining. That's really the end of the game. Homewood will not have to snap the ball a second time, I don't believe. We're going to let you watch and enjoy as the clock moves now. 8, 7, 6, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2. There you see the reaction. Yes, they won it. The final score as time runs out. Homewood 10 and Welborn 6. We'll be back with final comments and a preview of next week after this from our sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot football. Field as Homewood's Patriots win a big one, perhaps the biggest one of their careers. 10-6, victorious over a tough Walter Welborn High School team. Fred, next week it's either Pell City here or Homewood at Etowah, and we don't have a final score, but of course as this is being played back on a Wednesday night, everybody knows the outcome. They just played a magnificent game.
They actually turned the tables on Walter Welborn, used their own game plan to defeat them, shut them down in the second half just as they'd been shut down in the first half, and as I said, you can't continue to give the ball back to this offense again and again and not expect them to get stronger and stronger, which is what they did, and they put the game away actually when they scored the touchdown. I really don't think that Walter Welborn could have come back, because as the game progressed in the second half, the defense and the offense just got stronger and stronger. Welborn, with very few, if any, first downs except for the last seconds, just seemed to run out of gas.
Hats off to all the folks on the Homewood team and the coaching staff especially, as they adjusted in mid-flight, just as they've had to do so often this year, to contain that Walter Welborn offense. Well, we don't know if we'll be back here at Waldrop Stadium or not next week, but wherever the Homewood Patriots go, we're going to follow them, and we hope that once again you'll join us next Wednesday night for the replay of the Homewood Patriots playoff game as we enter the quarterfinals. Again, from Waldrop Stadium, the final score, Homewood 10 and Walter Welborn 6. For Fred Morris, I'm Barry Copeland, thanking you for joining us and telling you one final time, you're watching Homewood Patriot football.
Your Homewood High School Athletic Association and supporting sponsors have proudly presented Homewood